Goldie Hawn didn't want to be a movie star at first. She thought people in LA and the movie business were all messed up. She didn't want to be like them. Goldie Hawn is not just a Hollywood star. She is one of the last faces from a generation of big icons. She could make a whole room laugh with just one wink. Then, in the next moment, she could make everyone feel deep sadness. From the fun, innocent girl in Cactus Flower to the strong woman in Private Benjamin, she broke the idea that blondes are dumb. She became a symbol of independent women in American movies. Her laugh used to light up TV stages. Her presence made award shows feel warmer. Her strength inspired so many actresses who came after her. Goldie Hawn is not just an actress. She is a symbol of freedom, of being tough, and of a woman brave enough to follow her own road, even when it was full of unfair treatment. For more than 50 years, she has stood strong between bright moments and dark ones, turning her smiles and her pain into art that people can never forget. But now at 79, the hard times in her life have gotten really tough. Her health is fading, her memory is breaking, and some painful truths are coming out. Let's go back through her amazing but hard journey to see why Goldie Hawn's story today hurts so much. Goldie Jean Hawn was born on November 21, 1945, in Washington, D.C. She grew up in a family that had art and also some sadness. Her dad, Edward Rutledge Hawn, was a band musician and conductor with German and English roots. He came from the family of Edward Rutledge, the youngest person who signed the Declaration of Independence. Her mom, Laura Steinhoff, whose parents were Jewish immigrants from Hungary, ran a dance school. Goldie and her sister Patty grew up not knowing they once had an older brother, Edward Jr., who died before Patty was born. The family kept it quiet, and that silence left a small mark on Goldie's heart. At just 3 years old, Goldie started going to her mom's ballet and tap studio. By age 10, she got picked to dance in the Nutcracker with the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. It was her first real time under stage lights. At 19, she left her drama classes at American University to open and teach at her own ballet school. That choice showed how independent she was and how she wanted to make her own way. In those years, surrounded by spins and piano music, Goldie started to feel like she didn't want to stay stuck in one place. She didn't just want to dance to the music. She wanted a bigger stage where everyone's eyes would be on her. And soon, she found it. In 1966, at 21, Goldie Hawn had just left college to chase dance. She had only $250 saved, and she already spent $200 on a tiny poodle. She flew from the East Coast to California to dance at the Melodyland Theater near Disneyland. On that flight over the desert, she wrote in her diary that if anyone doubted God existed, they just needed to sit where she was right then. The sky went on forever. The horizon stretched into nothing, and the future felt wide open and unsure. Not long after, she took a job to dance in Las Vegas. That trip turned into something like a movie scene. Her new 1959 Chevrolet convertible broke down in the desert. She was left with just $50 and her poodle. Stuck there, she took a ride from a hitchhiker, a Green Beret who just came back from Vietnam. He drove her through scary parts and made her feel strangely safe. They spent one short Sunday afternoon together before he dropped her at the Desert Inn. It was the first time, but not the last, that Goldie Hawn turned a scary mistake into a story worth telling again. Her early jobs in California got her a part in the sitcom Good Morning World from 1967 to 1968. People started seeing her as the dumb blonde type, cute but not D.P.'d, but her big break came with Rowan Martin's Laugh-In from 1968 to 1973. On national TV, she giggled in the middle of lines, danced in bikinis, or with her body painted in wild colors. She, Diane Keaton, and Bette Midler made a rare promise: no one would take more screen time than the others. To this day, movies with Goldie Hawn have made over $2 billion at the US box office when you adjust for inflation. That's an amazing number. It proves she was never just a quick trend, but a strong star who turned simple blonde roles into deep characters and left a real mark on American movies. The top of her career brought Goldie Hawn huge fame and lots of money. But it also brought hidden pressures that only people inside could feel. After the bright lights and endless work, she came home to face personal choices that sometimes caused talk. It was right there, between big success and normal life, that her private world started showing stories that were close and full of drama. In her young years, the actress had a marriage that was romantic but full of ups and downs with Gus Triconis. They met in 1966 when Goldie was still unknown and Gus was already known in show business. He was in West Side Story as a member of the Sharks gang in 1961, danced with Debbie Reynolds in The Unsinkable Molly Brown in 1964, and was one of the dancers with Elvis Presley in his famous 1968 comeback special. Funny enough, they shared the same birthday, November 21st. With their love for dance, music, and the free artist life, they became a couple fast. In 1969, the same year Cactus Flower came out and won Goldie her Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, they had a small wedding in Honolulu, Hawaii on May 16. At that time, Goldie was rising to fame while Gus was leaving acting to try directing. But Hollywood's bright light doesn't always match happy home life. Goldie's busy filming and growing fame clashed with Gus's hard time rebuilding his career. It made a bigger gap between them. Goldie told people in 1976 that she felt tired and wanted to go somewhere like India to meditate. On April 9, 1973, they separated but didn't divorce right away because neither wanted to remarry soon. Everything changed in the summer of 1975 when Goldie met musician Bill Hudson on a flight and they clicked fast. On New Year's Eve that year, she filed for divorce from Gus and got engaged to Bill. Gus asked for $75,000 under California's community property laws. Goldie said it hurt because he never supported her even one day in her life. But the divorce finished in June 1976, so she could marry Bill just 1 month later. She became a big pop culture star of the 1960s. Her first movie was the one and only, genuine, original Family Band in 1968, but Cactus Flower in 1969 made her famous. Playing Walter Matthau's young fiancée, she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in her first big movie role. The dumb blonde tag stuck to her, but she was already thinking about how to take charge of her own career. In just a few years, with Steven Spielberg's The Sugarland Express in 1974 and Warren Beatty's Shampoo in 1975, she was not only a star people paid to see, but also one of the few women in Hollywood who produced and starred in her own movies. Movies like Private Benjamin in 1980 and Wildcats in 1986 showed she was ready to step into men's worlds like the army or football, and change how people saw women on screen. From a bar dancer in New Jersey, a young woman so nervous she needed therapy when fame first hit, Goldie Hawn turned herself into a Hollywood symbol of power and freedom. She proved the line she often said later, "Don't tell me I can't. Just watch me." While many actors search for years for a big role, Goldie Hawn needed only one chance, and she grabbed it with no fear. In 1969, after a few years on TV with Rowan Martin's Laugh-In, she got what looked like a small supporting part in Cactus Flower. Almost no one thought the character Toni Simmons, a young woman innocent and wild enough to try suicide over love, would explode like that. The movie cost about $3 million to make and earned over $25.8 million in the US. It was one of the top 10 movies that year at the box office. When Oscar night came, Goldie Hawn's name was called for Best Supporting Actress on her first big movie. The story of the golden statue made it even more special. Goldie wasn't at the ceremony. She was in London filming There's a Girl in My Soup and even forgot the Oscars were on. At 4 in the morning.